So Grand Slam track just canceled its season. Let's talk about it. Earlier this morning, if you didn't see it, Grand Slam track reportedly canceled its season via Front Office Sports. Front Office Sports reported that they are no longer going to be competing in the final slam in LA and that the season is now going to be over. They're originally supposed to have four competitions, one in Kingston, one in Miami, another in Philadelphia, and then the final one happening in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, this morning, it's reported that they are no longer going to be having that competition. What people are saying, what sources are affirming or are trying to say, is that, well, this morning around 5 a.m., the representatives of Grand Slam track had an all hands meeting. Everyone had to have a conversation, sit down, and let them know what the future for Grand Slam track holds. They then are having another meeting with all of the athletes of Grand Slam track following the Oslo Diamond League meet, where they're going to inform them of what the future for Grand Slam track looks like as well. While Grand Slam, as of recording this video, hasn't officially stated anything, depending and looking at what everyone is currently saying, it doesn't look great for the competition. So, why is it that Grand Slam track is no longer going to be competing in LA? For a lot of people, they believe that Grand Slam track isn't going to be competing due to money. Obviously, it's a new financial startup, and people believe, oh man, they're canceled because they ran out of money. They don't have the bag anymore. Then the league is going to fold. It was a terrible idea to begin with. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Grand Slam track is not canceling its last competition in LA due to money reasons. It's canceling it due to social unrest and civil disagreements within the city of Los Angeles. For those that don't know what's going on in LA, there are a lot of anti-ICE riots that are going along and protests that are happening within the city, which is causing a lot of civil uprise within the people, making it not the best space to go through and have a new track meet that they'd be having in LA. They're also having another difficulty with the UCLA's track as a whole, seeing that they want to go in a different direction with their strategic partners. It sounds like they may not have came to a great agreement with the people of UCLA for hosting that meet. And so, because of those reasons, they're no longer going to be having Grand Slam LA, and they're going to now be focusing on 2026 season. For me, what are my thoughts? I think this is really unfortunate. I mean, Grand Slam track has been the best thing to happen to track and field through this year. I can't think of many other things that inspired so much excitement into track and field like Grand Slam track has. It has been a breath of fresh air for something new and something that both the fans and the athletes can gravitate towards. And so by seeing this get canceled, it's just really sad and really disappointing on a couple different sides. So one, for the athletes. I mean, this is another $100,000 that athletes are no longer going to be winning or receiving. It's $3 million worth of prize money that is no longer going to be up for grabs that people are going to be missing out on. And so that can be life-changing money, especially if you were planning on competing in this, and especially if you had already said no to other competitions saying, hey, I'm not going to be competing at this meet or at this competition because I'm going to be in Grand Slam. Well, that conversation might be a little bit more awkward now trying to go back to those meets to get another competition in. Or those legs may have already been filled. They could have already had lanes filled because of it, and now you're going to be missing out on another meet because this change happened so late. We're already, 3 weeks away from 2.5, 3 weeks away from when that competition was supposed to happen. And so if athletes are finding out today, good luck to the agents for trying to find another competition for these people to go and compete in. Another one's for the fans. For the fans that are going to actually watch the competition. I mean, there are several people on social media that interact with me saying, "Hey, I already bought plane tickets. I already bought my tickets. Paid for hotels to go to this competition, and flights to LA and hotels in LA aren't cheap." And so a lot of people just spent a ton of money trying to go to LA to see this competition that's no longer going to see it. And so I feel bad for them of the lost money. Sure, like LA Grand Slam, I'm sure they'll refund all of the people for the tickets that bought for Grand Slam, but you're not going to be getting that money back from a plane, especially if it's already been booked and you didn't put the cancellation policy. Luckily enough, I mean, LA is a nice enough city that if you already had booked it, you can find something else to do. But still, really unfortunate for those that are track and field fans and really wanted to go and see it. Then it's another downside for the track fans as well. I mean, I wanted to see this competition as well. There's a lot of really great storylines. Can Kenny go through and complete the sweep? Will Melissa Jefferson drop another world leading time? Can Gabby Thomas get her get back against Melissa Jefferson? We were going to be seeing Sydney McLaughlin Lavroni going up in the 400 against Paulino and Salwa Nasser. Like there was a lot of that was going around, and so just really unfortunate. And I think that the 2 day system that they had was a positive one. And so for them to only really get one iteration of that is unfortunate that we're no longer going to be seeing that as a fan. And so that's another aspect of why this kind of stinks. And there's a few other ones of this is not boding a lot of confidence in that athletes are going to have or that fans are going to have going into 2026, no matter the reason that they had. Sure, even if it has nothing to do with money and has nothing to do with finances, if that, even with that potentially being true, this is not going to bode well for trying to get athletes to sign up as racers now. And like, hey, are we going to end up getting paid from this, or is it going to happen all the way through, or is it going to get canceled again? I'm sure that's going to be a lot of questions that people will have going into the 2026 year. And it's one that I'm sure is not going to be helpful for the sponsors. I mean, what's that conversation going to sound like with NBC or with Peacock and when you and all the other people that you booked sponsors for, where they spent all of this money for a few different things. Originally they would have spent all this money for 3 days worth of exposure. So you go from 3 days to 2 days. That's a whole less day and airtime of exposure that they're not getting, and so they were probably upset with that, of saying, okay, it's less days of exposure. It's not what we had thought of, but at least it's more heavily watched. And Philadelphia was a really successful slam. Okay, you can deal with that. Now you're going to have you're missing out on a fourth of the meet. Like the whole final Grand Slam is no longer going to be happening, and you're losing out on that money. I'm sure they're going to reimburse people for it no longer happening, but you're still losing all of this confidence going into next year. Like, once again, what are the conversations that Peacock and NBC are going to have of, hey, is this going to happen again where we're no longer going to have a fourth meet? Like, are they going to be reassured that things are going to actually happen? I'm sure that it's not going to be extraordinarily well thought of or taken, of saying, oh yeah, it was these other foreseen issues, when there's plenty of things that are happening in LA throughout that weekend. I'm sure that there are going to be other sporting events that happen. There's going to be restaurants that'll be open. There's going to be things happening. So saying, yeah, we're canceling it due to these potential issues, it's like, that's kind of it stinks, I'm sure, and it's going to be hard for sponsors to see that and have confidence in going back. And they're getting clowned right now on Twitter there and social media. There's a lot of people that are clowning it and saying, hey, this was never going to work to begin with. Like, they're crazy for changing things. There's plenty of people saying, some as jokes and others more serious, but there's plenty of people that are going through and saying that. And so not hearing something from Grand Slam Track, they haven't had any statement yet. No one has said a single thing. I think that is a really big miss on Grand Slam Track to not control this narrative. The fact that front office sports are the first people to announce that this is happening, I think is really misguided, because they don't control the narrative anymore. You're having some third-party company going off of what they've reported, saying what's happening in your sport. Now, this happens in regular sports all the time. In NBA, stories leak. NFL, stories leak. All these things, stories leak. And so you're trying to, get a league a little bit more official. So things are going to leak. But the fact that this story was initially released. So Front Office Sports released this story at 10:05 a.m. So this story came out at 10 a.m. I'm recording this episode and this video at 6:45 p.m. And as of this time, nothing has been said from Grand Slam Track. No PR. I have friends that work for Grand Slam Track. None of them have said anything. And it's like, you have to say something, right? Like the fact that you're just allowing all these people to pile up on it and make assumptions as to what happens, you're not boding confidence in fans or in people. Like, how is there not some sort of message saying, look, dear track fans, we're, sad to say that we're unfortunately not going to be hosting the fourth and final Grand Slam in Philadelphia due to unforeseen issues. Thank you for everyone that is support. We're fully looking forward towards the 2026 season and seeing how that's going to unfold. Like, why has that not been a statement that was released at 10:15, 10:30 at the latest? Like, we've had 8 hours now, full work days of this being out there, and it's baffling to me that nothing has been stated. And then now I'm curious as to what this is going to look like next year. What's all this the content that they're going to be posting? How are they going to ramp up for next year? Like, I mean, if I'm Flow Track, Diamond League, Athlos, if I'm all of these leagues, I'm like, grinning my teeth. Flow Track feels great because they host the Diamond League, and I'm sure that Athlos is not too upset with what's going on now with Grand Slam Track, and so seeing that you're not controlling this narrative and other people that are your competitors are now going to get a leg up, not looking good. So it's going to be a challenge. I'm sure next year it's upsetting for me. Like, I really believed and still do in Grand Slam Track, but just this segment, the way that this is happening, I think is a big failure for them. And they need to do something. Like, do something with the next couple minutes and within the next few days of retake over that narrative. If it's not true, then say it's not true. If it is true, then come through with your side of the story. Otherwise, you're letting people tell your story, and that is not what you want to do as a person, as an individual, or as a business and an organization. So it sucks. I hate it, but I guess that's track and field. If it doesn't rain, it pours. Thanks for watching. See you later.